President Trump is mulling a 100% tariff on movies that have been produced or that are being produced outside of the United States. And he has got the support of one huge labor union that says the president's plan will benefit American workers. Teamsters President Sean O'Brien cheering on the idea, and he joins us now. So, I mean, this is the second time that you've come forward to support the Republican president in his proposals. And I'm sort of reminded of that line out of Ghostbusters. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. But here's what you said in terms of supporting the president on this Hollywood thing. We thank President Trump for boldly supporting good union jobs when others have turned their heads. This is a strong step toward finally reining in the studio's un-American addiction to outsourcing our members' work. It's time to create good film jobs here at home by bringing production back to America. But again, it's unusual for the Teamsters Union and a Republican president to be on the same page here.
Well, I just want to know who's a cat and who's a dog. No, I mean, listen, I think...
Well, it could be a big cat, too. It could be a lion or a tiger. Right?
But I think it's important that we have focused on working bipartisan, and we're working bipartisan for the betterment of the American worker. And I think these tariffs and the most recent moves, especially within the motion picture industry, is relevant to what we do every day. We represent hundreds of thousands of people in this industry who went on strike against these big corporations, still, even though the strike's over, still haven't been put back to work, but they're sending movies and productions over to Paris based on New York. Why aren't they bringing Paris to New York? And there's a reason for it, because these greedy corporations get cheaper rates over in Europe and all these foreign nations, and we're suffering for it. And the threat from all these corporations and these film studios is, well, we'll just pass the cost onto the consumer. No, I got a better idea. Tariff them, make them work in the United States, and take a little bit less off your bottom line.
Wow, that's a big statement. And it is being heard loud and clear, I'm sure, by the administration, who's thankful for the support. We had Kirk Cameron on, a notable actor, speaking on behalf of Hollywood. He said he loves the idea. Listen.
I think that Trump thinks so far out of the box compared to so many of the rest of us. And making more movies here in America, I think, is a great idea. This could impact the whole Hollywood industry, and there are so many talented, creative people here who are going to have more and more jobs. And so I continue to think that this is a very exciting time to be an American and a very exciting time to work in Hollywood.
So I brought up an example to him of a movie recently filmed about an earthquake in California, home to Hollywood, which was entirely filmed in Australia, to display how far the industry has gone and out of the country. So, Sean, what is Hollywood going to think about this? I mean, you know, they're in favor of the lower prices, the incentives they're getting from some of these foreign nations. They've been doing it because they have monetary incentive to do so.
Well, Hollywood's not about creativity anymore. Hollywood's about the bottom line of a balance sheet. And I think their greed is reflective right now, because if they're going to push back on tariffs and putting people that make them the success, we've got the most creative workforce, we've got the most creative actors. There's no reason why they shouldn't be incentivized, when I say they, the studios, to film in the United States. And if they don't want to film in the United States, they should pay a price, and those prices should be based upon tariffs. And we're all for it. We're going to support it, and we're going to do whatever we can to work collectively to make certain that American workers work on American films and streaming media in America.
Yeah, well, there's a new show on Apple TV that's all about this idea of Hollywood just wants to make a ton of money. It's called The Studio, but it is shot here in the United States. I said that this is the second time, at least, Sean, that the Teamsters has come forward to support the president on his push for tariffs. What do you think of Democrats who are demonizing what the president's trying to do?
Well, I think I said this before. Whatever President Trump does, even if it's good for this country, just because his name's Trump, he's not going to get the support. We're looking beyond any differences of opinions that we've had with anybody. And we want to bring manufacturing back to this country. We want to bring jobs, put people to work, have a career path. Not everybody has the ability to go to a four-year college. There's ability to bring manufacturing back, put people to work, have careers, and live a middle-class life.
Yeah, there's some good paying jobs out there.
I think regardless of whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or an independent, we should be realists and want to encourage people to develop and manufacture in this country.
It's a big statement. Sean O'Brien, I always appreciate when you can join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.